Honorable Chancellor Dr. A.K. Pansari, my good friend for many years, and acknowledging the presence of the man in uniform. I am the past, he is the present, General A.K. Sharma, the GOC of 51 Sub-area, Guwahati's own general, members of the faculty, my colleagues from NEEPCO, and most important of all, the future of India. That's you. I'm actually overwhelmed, even verging on being emotional, having been invited for the second time at this very place. I don't know, I think most of you would not be here. I mean, those who were there that day may not be here. So I made 3 revelations that day. One was that I was always a backbencher. I was not good in discipline, good in sports, and I hated lectures. Now, if any one of you tells me that you like lectures, then you are lying. So then why am I here? Why has your chancellor invited me? Not to give you a lecture, not to give you a talk. I think when I was being introduced, they said that I keep giving talks at various business schools. Now, I am only class 11 pass. The only board exam I have taken is class 10. You'll be surprised. Because in our time, you could go to National Defense Academy after class 11. So I took the shortcut. And later on, I took another shortcut, became a paratrooper. Who's going to walk? It's better to fly and land behind enemy. It's easier that way to fight, rather than walk and then fight. So there's no way my knowledge base is anywhere near the eminent educationists, professors. But I have something to share, and that's my personal life story. My experiences on the battlefield, and I think General Sharma would bear me out. He would have many more such stories when he addresses you subsequently whenever he's invited. But before I talk about my experiences, I think it was September of 2022 when I met Dr. Pansari here, coming to seek some help. And I didn't know that such a wonderful university existed here. So allow me to, I have done my own research in addition to what your website says. And I mean, the website says that Dr. Pansari's vision has made RGU the most eminent private university of the Northeast. So I think a round of applause for that. World-class infrastructure, I think everybody sees it. Global academic partnerships. Cutting-edge, industry-oriented programs. There is no denying that. And even in my invitation letter, it said that you run 130-plus academic programs through 23 schools of studies to almost 9,000 students, all from one single campus in Guwahati. That speaks volumes of your commitment as an educationist. And I think children who study here are blessed. I wasn't so blessed. Otherwise, I could have also been a student in this RGU. You have, I remember you last time when I came and you gave a letter addressed to the Chief of Army Staff, offering scholarships to the wards of not only serving, but Veer Naris, Veer Matas, veterans. That's a big step. That's a big step, and it's going on, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. We from the uniform fraternity are grateful to you for this. And the Chief of Army Staff has conveyed his gratitude to you for this. Very interestingly, we talk of brain drain from India to the West. Nobody has talked of brain drain from Northeast to the rest of the country. Someone named Dr. A.K. Pansari has stopped this brain drain by fostering value-based, career-centric growth at home. So thank you very much for that. Your ambition at home, my research says your ambition. My figures may go off by a few hundreds, to nurture 50,000 regional leaders and entrepreneurs in the coming decade for Viksit Bharat 2047. I hope I'm not way off the mark. So thank you very much for your contribution. Coming back to my story, I think I was introduced as a paratrooper. So you know, a paratrooper's life is very funny, very unique. Every time you jump, you get more scared. Contrary to the common perception that every time you jump and your jump number goes from 5 to 10 to 15, you are less scared. No, it's the other way around. Why? Because every time you jump, you know the dangers in greater detail. First time तो किसी ने धक्का मार दिया, पता नहीं किसने धक्का मारा, parachute खुल गया. Second time you know the nuances. Third time you know more nuances. Fourth time you get to know more technicalities. What else can go wrong? And that's why. So, but a paratrooper continues to do his jumps and do his job. Why? Because there is a factor called trust in it. And now this is the story begins here. That the parachute is packed by someone sitting somewhere else. You pick up the parachute and you put it on. There is something called a final tie, which is the most critical part of the parachute packing, which is not done by you. Thereafter, you get into the aircraft and the pilot signals, okay, it's time to get out of the aircraft. So you stand up, face the exit door, and the person behind you taps on your right shoulder to say that your final tie is okay, because you can't look back. It's here, right behind. The paratrooper still jumps. Why? It's because of the trust. So the first lesson of life for everybody is you develop trust. If you want to achieve glory, you need to create an environment of trust and belief in each other. Rest everything is a natural corollary. This is the story of a paratrooper, right? Success in life is quite debatable. Last time, I think I was asked a question. He said, sir, you got such a illustrious career. What is the reason or story behind your success? I think the student was sitting right in that corner. Maybe he was sleeping throughout, and suddenly he got up and he asked me this question. So I asked him, do you want a short answer or a long answer? He didn't say anything. So I said, since I was running out of time, I said, short answer was failure. He was shocked. He said, what is the general talking? He says, मैं success की बात कर रहा हूँ, वो failure की बात कर रहा है यार. I said, failure is the reason of my success. Any successful man who says he has not failed is a liar. Any successful man who says who's not made mistakes is not being truthful at all. No. If you don't make mistakes, if you have not failed, you will not succeed. So this is the story which I think from battlefield we carry. You fail, you face reverses, you live to fight another day, and you succeed. In the welcome address, there was a reference to, sorry, I have a huge script, but I have a bad habit of not sticking to script. I'm just connecting to what all I have heard so far. So there was a reference to understanding. And when it said that you have to develop understanding. I used to look down upon this word called understanding till the time I was in London. Or I was visiting a NATO institute in the School of Concepts and Doctrine. तो जैसे अंग्रेज होते हैं, दो चार अंग्रेजी इधर बोल दिया, दो चार उधर बोल दिया, and then they gave me a presentation on the art of understanding. मैं कहा ये क्या understanding? तो it's not a waste of time. I know how to understand. I understand everything. You don't have to teach me the art of understanding. So they gave me a booklet. I will share that link with you. They gave me a booklet on art of understanding which the entire NATO forces follow. While it is in the military domain, but it's equally applicable to any walk of life. And it talks of three things. One, now here is the double whammy, the art of understanding. The art of understanding is a science. Let me explain. The art of understanding is a science, and there are three kinds of understanding, which the doctrine says. Individual understanding, then is collective understanding, and there is group understanding. I'll give you an example. Individual is me, or General Sharma, or Dr. Pansari, or Mr. Ankur Pansari. There is an event. We have our own understanding based on the facts available to us. So we develop an understanding of this particular situation. Then this whole row, group of friends. So you discuss amongst yourselves, and you come up with some understanding of the situation. Now this is Royal Global University's understanding, group understanding. Throw the same situation to Delhi University. They also would think about it, and then when you interact with them, you develop something called a collective understanding. सीधे लफ्ज़ों में common minimum program जो होता है ना, manifesto. I think that's easier to understand. So, in life, you have to develop all these three understandings to create an ecosystem where you are willing to listen to others' points of view, willing to adapt, willing to do a little give and take to come to a common cause. And once you've developed this understanding in totality of a situation or a problem, then you put your mighty shoulders behind to achieve the same. This is exactly what happens in the armed forces when we deliberate an attack on an enemy post. It starts with the discussion at the battalion level and goes right up to the division commander at least, or maybe the corps commander. And finally, they develop these three stages of understanding. And when they attack, they succeed. So this is the art of understanding. So this is my second advice to my future of India, that try and develop this art of understanding. A lot of people say that, what are the lessons that we can learn from the battlefield? I mean, उधर गोली मारते हैं, इधर हम पढ़ाई की बातें करते हैं, हम अहिंसा की बातें करते हैं. No, everything is same. Everything is same. After all, I transitioned from the battlefield to the boardroom of NEEPCO. I think 3 months I was on a roll because the core values remained the same. So what are these core values? So the military victories are a result of seamless collaboration. Various factors, whether it's the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, within the Army, various factors, they are a collaborative result, output of this uniquely essential thing called success. Everybody runs for success, but you have to think that alone you cannot do it. And so, in a collaborative approach, in a collegiate system of decision making, this for the students, sometimes you think that I am a topper, I don't need to consult anybody else. Right? We think so. Right? I don't want to share my notes with you. No, I'm sorry. For all you know, you may be carrying a mistake in your notes and it'll carry you through your board exams or your final exams. Right? So collaboration is a must in life. Accepting mistakes, as I said, is a must in life. And, finally, I think I will come with the example of, how many of you have seen a crazy ball? Have you heard? When we were kids, there was something called a crazy ball. It used to be a ball of the size of a squash ball, high density rubber. And when you dropped it, instead of the amplitude going low, with every bounce, the amplitude was going higher. What does this tell you? Learn from your mistakes. Every fall, you need to collect yourself and rise higher. And so the crazy ball, you can Google it, the crazy ball analogy, every setback in life actually launches you higher if you harness your energy. You got to learn from your failures. Everybody fails. Anybody who attempts will fail. But if you harness your energy, failure, like a rubber ball bouncing back, so I think you'll succeed for sure. And so remember this analogy of crazy ball. Learn to embrace your failures. You don't have to sulk. No, you don't have to sulk. Use them as a fuel for future growth. Now the time for some personal stories. Enough Gyan. Operation Cactus, Maldives. I was a young captain in Agra. Like it happens in para brigade, morning PT, etc. Karne ke baad, I was at the firing range in the unit. Somebody said, "Oh, ladai lag gayi, chalo." Now, para brigade of India is stationed in Agra. There's no secret I'm discussing. And every week or 10 days, we would have these mock drills as a quick reaction force. Para brigade is the first responder to any crisis in the country or outside the country. It's mandated to even operate it neighboring countries if you're asked to step in. I thought it must be a joke, so another captain was there. I said, "Sir, ये बोल रहे लड़ाई लगेगा तो छोड़ना यार, लड़ाई क्या कहीं ले जाएंगे, हमको कहीं क्वारंटीन में डालेंगे, फिर कहीं उड़ा के ले जाएंगे, कहीं गिरा देंगे, 72 hours में एक्सरसाइज करके वापस आएंगे, and then it'll be business as usual." My mind was working on those lines, so I picked up my weapon. I picked up only one magazine. I said, "Why carry extra load?" I told my Havildar, "Grenade le lena do." We're supposed to carry 2 grenades. And I said, "Radio set le lena." I forgot to tell him that you take the spare batteries also, because there's a time with which the batteries last. We got airborne. Our commander was late Brigadier Bulsara. Do you know that we had no maps in our country that time? We worked, हम जनपद से जाके वो टूरिस्ट मैप था मालदीव्स का लेके आए. शक हमारे जवानों को ये था कि सर ये तो अंडमान का हिस्सा नहीं है, वो भी छोटे छोटे आइलैंड है, अंडमान भी छोटे छोटे आइलैंड है, तो शायद अपने देश में जा रहे हैं. कहते नहीं यार ये विदेश है, विदेश में लड़ाई हो गई है. Now we thought it was still a joke. The aircraft, we were put in IL-76 aircraft, which are long-haul aircrafts. It kept on flying. After 3 hours, we started seeing water. हमने कहा ये तो serious मामला लग रहा है कुछ. But still, one of my friends said, नहीं यार, you know, last year we jumped in Andamans. Andamans में ही गिरा देंगे तो पानी से जाके Andamans में कोई पोर्ट ब्लेयर में कोई एक्सरसाइज करेंगे, चले आएंगे. Now you can't make out whether the island is Maldivian island or Indian island. You can't make out from the air. And finally, the brigade commander comes, "This gentleman, while all of you may be thinking it's a mock drill, it's an actual exercise where the president of Maldives has been taken hostage by the People's Liberation of Tamil Eelam." All of us started looking for our magazines and grenades, so I checked my grenade. There were no fuse. My Havildar said, "Mock drill है तो fuse क्यों लेना? Because fuse is kept somewhere else. इधर जाएंगे, फिर उधर वाउचर साइन करेंगे, उधर जाएंगे, इसे छोड़ो." हमने कहा, "I hope you carried extra batteries." कहते नहीं साहब, तो एक्सरसाइज था, मैं कहा अभी करो खाके, अभी. So we landed. So now the decision was, we didn't know whether the president was safe or not. Our mandate, that time Prime Minister late Sri Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, is of October of 1988. Now we didn't know what to do. Anyway, the decision was to do air landing. So now we didn't know whether the runway, the Hulula International Airport, was taken over by the terrorists or not. And the capital city where the president was supposed to be housed in was about 2 miles by water island. So the decision was to do airborne landing, but the commander took a decision that because the problem was with the IL-76, when you jump from a higher height and the dispersion is more, and that area around the thing was all shark infested. So 50% would have been easy meat for sharks. So Brigadier Bulsara decided that no, we will take a chance and we will air land the first aeroplane. Right? And if it gets blown up, then we'll do a airborne assault. Leader, commander, he was himself in the first aircraft. And Group Captain Bevur, I remember, was the pilot of that IL-76. There were newly acquired IL-76 aircraft from Russia by India those days. We landed, we were lucky. The terrorists were keen on killing the president, They never realized that any other country can react so fast. Even the Americans were taken by surprise. We landed, we secured the airfield, and then, of course, we commandeered the local boats. We went in, we extricated the president, and suddenly it was India, India everywhere. So what are the lessons from this little story? No matter how good you are, the paratroopers feel they are God's own. Our motto is, men apart, every man an emperor. Too high-headed, too high-headed. And so the mistakes: didn't carry my adequate ammunition, didn't carry my radio. If there was a firefight at Hulula International Airport, we would have got reverses. The general will accept that. So we were lucky there. The second lesson is, the leaders lead from front. When the brigade commander took a decision to air land at international airport of a country which you have no idea about, and thinking that the terrorists have taken over, he could have said any other aircraft in detail to land first. Yes or no? Yes, he could have. But he acted like a true leader, and that enthused all of us who were in that aircraft itself. We were not bothered then. So leaders lead from the front, right? And the next lesson you learn is that you remain very, very composed no matter what the situation. You can actually, I can go on and on for 2 hours on the story. So the foreign minister was taken hostage on a ship called MV Progress Light. We engaged that. We extricated the foreign minister. All this happened. It was a classic example of trust, bold leadership, collaborative decision-making. Everything that your books talk about is what you can Google Operation Cactus in Maldives and read in detail. It'll give you a lot of leadership lessons. It'll motivate you. It'll make you proud of the Indian Armed Forces, right? While talking of Indian Armed Forces, 3 days ago, I was watching the movie War 2. How many of you have not seen War 2? Movie is not good. Movie is not good, but there are some very interesting lessons for our future. उसमें 2 कैरेक्टर हैं, कबीर एंड रघु. Kabir is an undercover agent for RAW. Raghu is a special forces guy. Kabir always felt India first. Raghu always felt Raghu first. Both soldiers for India. So the movie goes on and on like typical Bollywood movie, But the lesson in that is that anybody who's determined, anybody who has a clear aim in life, and you work towards it, not merely think, you will achieve it, right? And if you're on the path of righteousness, you can even get the misguided missiles back on track, because the misguided missiles are also fence sitters. And this I am talking with the reference to what's happening in our society today. There are many misguided missiles, many youth who out of disillusionment or out of frustration or out of being misguided, they have gone on a different track. So this movie, Kabir gets Raghu back, and finally it ends with, of course, with a song and dance, but it also ends with India first, right? So see this movie. Again, I said, I'm not a movie buff, but it caught my attention that this movie has plenty to offer for our younger generation. This movie also talks about one more thing. You've heard of intelligence quotient, social quotient, emotional quotient. How many of you have heard of adversity quotient? Raise your hands. Adversity quotient. Now, this is the quotient which is most important. Everything that I've spoken about today, is learning from failures, accepting mistakes. You are down, but you're not out. You fall, but you're... So if you develop something called adversity quotient, and this is a mental game, it's not physical. You don't develop adversity quotient by just going to a gym and developing six-pack ab. No, I'm sorry. You can have six-pack flab also, it's all right. Even if you have six-pack flabs also, it's all right, but develop this adversity quotient. I'll give you an example of adversity quotient. It's little classified, but I think I have the clearance from the NSA to say this. I just finished command of division in Arunachal, and I was selected to command India's nuclear forces. I was there for 4 years. It was the month of February I had taken over. March, Pulwama happened, right? March of 19, February of 19, 14th February. Yeah. And then all the saber rattling happened, where finally the Pakistanis threatened us when we sent in an airstrike, and the airstrike came and all that happened. And finally, Pakistan has a tactical nuclear missile called Nasser. Short range. And it's on Wikipedia, so nothing secret I'm giving out. And so we got the input that they had deployed it. And at the same time, the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan then started saber rattling that ये फुलझड़ियाँ हमने ऐसे दिखावे के लिए नहीं रखी हैं. And the railway minister Rashid Khan, he went even ballistic by saying that he will use these nukes against India. Now, this was happening on the television for us. What was happening on ground, only our intelligence agencies knew, or the Pakistanis knew. I, as nuclear force commander, I was visiting a particular base. I was called back immediately. I was called into a room where I've never seen so many high and mighty, even on television. And I was given a very clear-cut instruction that you need to tackle this problem. So I said, how will I tackle it, sir? He says, you will deploy X number of missiles. I thought they were joking. I'm talking of nuclear missiles. I thought they were joking. So I went out. My boss called me. He said, no, it's a serious business. And we deployed X number of missiles, and I was told to leave it out in the open. Now, you know, these things are very, very secretive, classified. Nobody knows. Even my wife didn't know where I would travel. Such was the nature of my job. And next morning, what happens? In Hindustan Times, I'll give you the date, you can Google it. In Hindustan Times, it says, India deploys nuclear missiles to deter Pakistan. Now, I thought I had done it secretively. My boss thought he had done it secretively, so I went running to him next morning. My brigadier says, sir, I think time for us to go to jail. I think something has gone wrong. There's been a breach of national security. Obviously, anybody would panic. I went running to my boss. Boss didn't believe it. That had come out in the newspapers, Indian newspapers. He rang up the high and mighty, and he told me to sit down, gestured. You know, you imagine he's behind the table and I'm standing here. He says, sit down. I said, no, sir, I'm not sitting down till the time you tell me what is the response from the high and mighty. So the conversation went like this, and I heard only one word. He first told the story that there's been a breach of security, and then the word was only one, sir, 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 ha, 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 sir, sir, sir. Now I didn't know what was happening. The other end is a man under tension. I was going mad. I was imagining a lot of things, that I will be put to jail, I'll be put to shame. After having worked for 35 years in the army gloriously, how did it happen? Then he made me sit down. He asked for a cup of tea. I said, I refused to have a cup of tea with my boss. I said, first tell me, what did the high command tell you? He says it was intentional, that we declared this information to the press to tell the world about India's resolve. Right? So what are the lessons? This is just not storytelling. One is, have faith in your leadership, which I started doubting for a moment. I'm being honest. Second, my adversity quotient was low. I'm being honest again. So this incident taught me two things. Believe in your leaders, in whichever field you are, and develop adversity quotient. क्या ही हो जाता अगर if I had not panicked like that, maybe my boss would have been more composed. He would have been able to convey this in a little more cogent manner. And finally, it was a much larger game. And after that, what happened? Honorable Prime Minister came on the television. Our Honorable Defense Minister went to Pokhran and said, we may reconsider our nuclear doctrine. You saw this in record, open media. And our Prime Minister made a very good statement. हमने भी दिवाली के लिए फुलझड़ियाँ नहीं रखी हैं. And that was the end of it. And then the intelligence agency said, वो जैसे चूहे बिल में जाते हैं, वैसे नासर बिल में चले गए. And that was the end of the story. So you know, why I am telling you all the stories? Because I have made these mistakes in my own professional life. But I have learned and I have come back stronger. I have actually come back stronger. The next lesson I learned was, how do you earn loyalty and gratitude? Is it by your authority? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, General Sharma will bear me out that when we are with our troops in the field area, our troops eat first. Am I right, Ajay? Our troops eat first. Leaders eat last. There's a very famous book also. Leaders eat last, on the Marine Corps, somebody wrote. But you'll be happy to know that this is the ethos of our great Indian armed forces, especially Army, where leaders eat last. However, I'm a paratrooper, I told you, a little high-headed. Paratroopers jump first. In the paratrooping, if there is a general, there is a brigadier, and there is a captain, and there is a subedar and a havildar, the first one to jump out of the aeroplane is the general. So that leader embraces danger for his troops first. So I think this is what earns you loyalty and gratitude of your subordinates, of your colleagues. You know, so remember one thing, that always be the giver. Be the giver. In your mind, if you decide, if you be the giver, आप अपने नानी दादी का एग्जाम्पल ले लें, आप अपनी माँ का एग्जाम्पल ले लें घर में. माँ सबसे आखिरी में खाती है, पहले खाती हैं? हाँ, कोई बच्चा बताइए, माँ आखिरी में खाती हैं? Mothers eat last? Yes? But they get up first and sleep last. Yes or no? So this is it, be a giver. You know, and finally, I think I was told to touch upon Operation Sindoor. While you have a military talk on Operation Sindoor, I had prepared this for the MBA students of IIM Shillong last week. And so I will leave this slide with your faculty. But the key takeaway of Operation Sindoor, as far as I'm concerned, is, you know, what was demonstrated. You heard the Chief of Air Staff and Chief of Army, 9 targets we hit. 7 by ground and 2 by air, deep inside Pakistan territory. For the first time, we hit Pakistani Punjab. We hit Bahawalpur and Murudke, right? And we destroyed, Chief has now said we have destroyed 5 jets and 1 large aircraft. It's open knowledge now. So how was it possible with the Army, and Navy also did what they did? It's under classified domain. And maybe when General Bajaj talks about it, maybe he has permission to talk, because it's privileged information. I would not like to talk about it. But there are some lessons for each one of us and the students also. There was absolutely strategic precision. Strategic precision is the word. You know, if you have very clearly defined objective, you will not go wrong. And this is what happened in this case. It was a multi-domain coordination. is in your own life also. You will have to coordinate with multiple people, multiple agencies to get your thing going. Whether you're in business, whether you're in medicine, whether you're in civil services, is the same. Agile escalation and timing, that means adaptability. Simple word for this is adaptability. You should know when to fight. There's a song, no? When to fight, when to halt, and when to turn back. I forget the name. There is a song. I'm getting old, closer to 60 in November. You know, technological prowess, innovation, which I think RGU takes a lot of pride in technology innovation. You know, everything was technology. Everything was technology. 300 kilometers dur se, you enter a small opening and you destroy the whole building. How did this happen? The BrahMos missiles did it. Your satellites did it. And it's not only the armed forces who fought Operation Sindoor. It was not only the intelligence agencies. I was visiting NESAC, Northeast Space Application Center, at near Umiam. And there I found 2 servers which were controlling the satellites which were giving real-time information about the enemy movement. Imagine. So it's multi-domain. Everybody was in this. And of course, by our own Prime Minister, he said that he had given free hand to the armed forces, which the 3 chiefs have said that there were no restriction. So the chiefs decided to do a measured escalation, but they always had, as good Indians, ethical guardrails. There were no collateral damage. Nobody could blame India for any collateral damage. No schools, no hospitals, unlike Gaza. You're seeing what's happening in Gaza. And of course, finally, resilience and sustained pressure. What has our Prime Minister said? Operation Sindoor is over or still going on? It's going on. Indus water, a whole lot of other things. And so in this whole thing, what came to our rescue was our self-reliance, Atmanirbhar Bharat. You are the future. You are the ones who are going to make this vision a reality. Each one of you sitting, and all of you are, achievers, toppers, semester toppers of the even semester. And I think you have to make India self-reliant. And that vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, and I think finally I would like to sign off by saying that the key takeaway of Operation Sindoor offers a robust model for strategic clarity, technological preparedness, ethical restraint. We could have done anything, and resilient execution. These leadership qualities resonate deeply with the mission of Royal Global University. I have read your mission, right? This is this place where you will be developed into a responsible, innovative, and strategic leaders of the future. So take a resolve today that you will achieve all this. And finally, to all the leaders in the making. So I will read out. So I once asked a wise man, sir, what's the best field to build a successful career? Sabko ye dimag mein hota hoga? What is the best field to build a successful career, sir? The old man smiled back and he said, be a good human being. There is a huge need for it and hardly any competition. Thank you and Jai Hind.
From the pharmacy department.
Is there any scope for pharmacy in Army field? Yes, in the Army Medical Corps.
Sir, she is the student. I think, sir, last time you had given her a medal also for her performance.
Yeah?
Yes.
For your dance performance? God bless you. Ajay, I'm a little outdated, but I think but not in the officer cadre, but in the, as a pharmacist, not in the officer cadre, but you can join, but no, not for the ladies yet. I don't know, have you opened up for the ladies? I'll have to check. Pharmacists are there in the Army Medical Corps. We have opened up a few openings for the girls. What's your subject?
So, bachelor's in pharmacy.
So you can still join the Indian Army, Air Force or Navy as an officer, even with a graduation degree. Yeah? But there is no vacancy for, there are no vacancies for pharmacists as an officer in the Indian Army.
Okay, sir.
But my advice, you have potential. You pursue your graduation with zeal and apply for OTA Chennai or for the Naval Academy or for the Air Force Academy, right? And now girls are flying Rafale, yeah? Maybe some of them had taken part in Operation Sindoor also. Okay.
Thank you,
What
sir.
lessons from the army? Oh, that's interesting. What lessons from the army can help us in our student life? Rashmi Verma. Yeah, Rashmi, were you awake or sleeping in my talk? Were you awake? Yeah? Resilience, developing adversity quotient, camaraderie, right? Camaraderie,
Yes, sir.
collaborative approach, developing the art of giving, right?
Yes, sir.
You ask if you have anything specific, but it's a very generic, it's a full talk actually.
Sir, you have explained very well.
Huh?
So yes.
No, I think have I been able to convey to you
Yes, sir.
all the lessons, let me tell you to summarize, all the lessons from the army as a commanding general, and I've had a lot of operational exposure, and in the boardroom of NEEPCO, I find it very easy, and my colleagues from NEEPCO here will say that I have brought in a lot of changes thanks to the lessons learned from the Indian Army. Am I right, Abhishek? Yes, no? Any other specific thing you want to know?
No, sir. It's
Every lesson of the army is applicable in your student life, in your professional life. It's applicable at home. It's applicable in your relationship with your siblings, with your parents, and when you get married with your spouse, with your in-laws, is the same story, right?
Sir.
The lessons are the same. Only the nuances change. Okay, next.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I am a humanities student enrolled in NCC unit in this university. How do I go about the future course in the army if I wish to serve? Great. Raika Gogoi. Where are you? Yeah. So firstly, you've done a good thing by joining NCC. So firstly, you try and do your NCC C certificate. Okay? Try and do your NCC C certificate. That's one opening. There are certain vacancies for NCC C certificate qualified people where you're called for interview directly, but the competition is very tough. I would recommend what I told, what's her name? No. Akanksha? Akanksha. What I told Akanksha, as a graduate, you can actually work towards qualifying as an officer in the Army, in the Navy, in the Air Force. And let me also add here that even paramilitary forces have a great opening for girls today, right? So I think sky is the limit for the girls. I mean, you were referring to my two daughters, my two adopted daughters. So one day they came home crying in an army setup that boys were playing football and they also wanted to play. So they were told, no, girls don't play football. They came crying. So I have played football for the army. So I put them in coaching. They were 6 years old then, they are 12 now. I'm happy to tell you, it's not I'm doing my own backslap, I'm giving you an example of what girls can achieve. They won number of national level tournaments in football. One of them has been selected to play for Delhi State football team. And as we speak, you've heard of Subrato Cup? These girls are participating in Subrato Cup from the Army Public School because they're the best school, the champion school, participates as one state. And these girls are only 12 and they are participating in under 17 tournament. They have played in under 19 tournaments. These are the girls, these are your sisters from the Northeast. Sky's the limit. Dream. Dream big, but dream with your eyes open. Who said this? Who said this? our late President, Dr. Abdul Kalam, said, be a dreamer, but dream with your eyes open, because if you dream with your eyes open, you will propel yourself to achieve the dream. नींद में वाला ड्रीम तो सवेरे उठ के चाय के साथ, चाय के प्याली के साथ खत्म हो जाती है. Have you understood? And Ajay, I think if I can take the liberty, this young lady can connect, Joe, and she can be guided. You are lucky, today we have the Commanding General of Guwahati here. So you connect with him, right? And he will guide you. And this is, I think, if I may take the liberty, anybody, any of your students who are keen on taking this guidance about career in the armed forces, I think career in the armed forces, these kids, sometimes the kids do not know how to go about it, how to prepare physicals and also for written exam. I think, Ajay, on your behalf, can I take this liberty? Thank you very much. I think the general is very large-hearted, more large-hearted than me. So thank you. Any other question? Thank you. And okay, so if I can take the liberty, I'll take 5 more minutes. Any question which was not structured? Last time I was asked about Agniveers, which was the most controversial topic going on last year. Any other question?
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. You have talked about failure in a speech. So, sir, I have a question that sometimes we fail or sometimes we get a short-term success. But, so again, restarting, we take some time or it is a bit hard to restart again. So how would you tackle if you were in a situation like that?
I forgot to tell you this story. As a lieutenant colonel, I was flying very high, doing very well. So I got handpicked to command a particular engineer regiment, which is only four in numbers in the entire Indian Army. Ajay, you know, the specialist equipment-based engineer regiments are very sought after. I was from a normal engineer regiment. Based on our performance, I got picked up. I came to Chandimandir. It's a 268 engineer bridge regiment. It's a very famous story of Indian Army. And the visit of my boss's boss was there. That's the corps commander, 3-star Lieutenant General from Bhopal. So obviously I'd worked very hard. I was about 4 months into my command, and I was already dreaming of becoming a brigadier and a general. I thought I was God's own. Little arrogance had set in. I'm being honest. When you start flying high, your arrogance sets in. And this corps commander came and he declared my unit unfit for war. Now let me explain to you. Very rarely do units get declared unfit for war. It was only in 71 war which some of the units which had performed very poorly and had taken a lot of casualties, they were declared unfit for war. In peacetime, in Chandimandir, no enemy, no pressure, nothing, and I was declared unfit for war. The whole world came crashing down. For 2 days, I did not go home. I stayed in my unit mess. I didn't talk to my wife, nobody. So they thought this guy had lost it. But remember, I had said also that army is a great family, a team. So my unit officers and Jawans and JCOs came to me and said, sir, and I was under pressure on paper to write off the careers of all my juniors. So I said, I will not do it. My officers came to me and my JCOs came to me and said, sir, you have a bright career, write us off. That propelled me. You just need one small trigger. Now I'll explain to you how it propelled me. He said, look at these guys. I mean, and I was an outsider in the unit. I was not commissioned into the unit. So that itself has another set of problems. I worked hard along with the team. Nobody in my unit went on leave even a single day for 90 days. The same corps commander came and visited us and declared us the finest unit in his strike corps. And the name of the general is General Aditya Singh. This is all evidence-based, I'm saying. Then the army commander came. He gave us 5 awards on the spot. This was 6 months down the line. My unit was 40 years old then. And here was a man who was a high-flying guy who was brought in, and he brought shame to the unit, because becoming unfit for war means if India went to war that day, I would have been told to sit in barracks. Am I right, Ajay? That means Nobody can trust you with the lives of men. You're a useless commanding officer. That's the end of the story. It's worse than getting a pink slip in a company. Honor, everything gone. Then this trigger happened. We worked, right? We pulled ourselves. Alone, you can't pull yourself. That's why you need to create an ecosystem of trust, friends, right? You know, camaraderie. Be a giver. If you're a giver when you're in crisis, somebody else will give it back to you. And then, when I left the unit in June of 2006, the unit was 42 and a half years old. When it was 40 years old, when I took over, it had 20 awards on the board only. When I left the unit, 2.5 years down the line, after being declared unfit for war and fighting back, and that's why this example of Crazy Ball is very dear to my heart, we had 65 awards on the board. Right? There's a classic example of and not alone. Have I answered your question? Thank you very much.